And we are rolling. Hey guys, I'm in a car. Hope you like it. Face is a little dim. Oh, there we go. Hey. So, I'm in a car because I like the privacy and I don't like the podcasting and then freaking other people out because they can hear me. And they're like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, well, I haven't actually said that, but I would be like, filming. And they're like, what? What are you filming? And I'm like, just a video. About what? And I'm like, Nanya. And they're like, alright, I was just asking, yo. So, that was a bit petty, wasn't it? Was a little bit petty. Yes, petty. Today, guys, I would like to talk about, you guessed it, life. Or like why I have drumsticks in my hands and clearly aren't very good at playing them. Well, I quite like drumsticks and drums. However, life can get in the way. Even though life is only actually everything. Did you know that life is everything? Did ya? And what isn't everything is yourself. Yeah. But I used to always think that I was. This is quite fun actually, having the drumsticks. I quite like them. Yeah, alright. I'll save the songs till later then, shall I? Yeah. Do you ever think about like how Lionel? My dog just stuck his head up to the window. Alright, come on. Come on, you come. Hey Lionel, how are you? Anyway, guys, so it's things like that makes life worth living, right? Anyway, we'll flesh out these ideas the more I get on to talking about them. Anyway, I've just been thinking about them, and I guess right now I just got to get over that hump of trying to be good enough, trying to have this sound good enough to talk about, and not just be really awkward, and get over the fact that it probably will be. Like, even just talking about this, not that podcasty, right? But last time I checked, these videos only had about 4 views each. So, I'm sorry for people. Yeah, I'm sorry because you're watching this. No, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. It really is amazing that other people are interested in what I've got to say. Anyway, yeah, so it's more for myself what I've got here. So I'm just going to push through. Usually before I start these videos, I'm quite fearful. And I'm scared as shit. And I'm like, whoa. Okay, I'm not going to have anything to talk about. But right now I can talk about stuff. I'm just like, oh God, if I talk about it, it's not going to make sense. But you may as well, because I do a lot of journaling and that doesn't really make sense. But it makes sense to me as the time I'm writing it. So what else doesn't make sense? I've got the camera thing turned around. I think that's good. That's my pencil, Lionel. You city sausage. Hello, how are you? You're sitting in the driver's seat. Check him out. That's my doggo. Yeah. Oh god, I'm not even microphone. Yeah, alright, thanks guys. So yeah, it's just like I've got this camera thing turned around, like the viewfinder. The viewfinder turned around so I can see myself. And I'm looking at a video of my face. And it's just a recreation of my face. It's not really me. You know, like, I'm looking at it and it's like, well, like, how is that me? Like how is that me? I mean, I'm seeing next to it a car seat, and I'm going, okay, so that's an object, and then I'm looking next to it, and I'm seeing a face, and I'm going like, how? What did I do to be the face and not the car seat? They're both like material, but like one can like move around. You know, how is it that the one that moves around is me? Is it because it's got nerves in it? Is nerves what I am? Anyway, maybe I want to know. Anyway, why this matters, right? I'm not just doing this for no reason, is because I think that somewhere in there is the answer to suffering and to not suffering. Because whatever you are is what's suffering. And from the meditation research that I've been doing, I've discovered that what you are is not what you think you are. What you think you are is the thinking itself. But the thinking itself is just thinking. It's not thinking as a product of you, it's just thinking as a product of the universe, basically. And what I mean by the universe is the product of your parents birthing you, the product of every single thing that's happened to you up until this point. I've got wet socks, wet shoes, I think. Oh, they're really cold. They're just really cold. Okay, everything that's happened to you up until this point. It's not really you. What are you doing here? You're just acting because everything else that's happened up until this point in the universe has all given reason for you to act in the way that you are acting right now. It's got nothing to do with the fact. It's got nothing to do with you doing stuff. You doing stuff. So would you just be like the concept of your body, the concept of thinking that's in your consciousness? I'm not quite sure how to use the word "your" now. I'm like, is it your consciousness? Where is I? Where am I? Am I in the consciousness? How am I the consciousness if the consciousness isn't doing anything? Can I just be here in this universe and not worry about suffering because I'm not actually doing anything anyway? But then surely the suffering is still appearing in consciousness. So then I'm still like, and the worrying is still appearing in consciousness. So therefore I am still actually worrying about doing stuff. I think this is a recent realization that I've had in the last couple of days is that maybe even just yesterday, is that it's the thinking about the worrying, because you believe that the worrying will change the thing that you're worrying about, that causes the worrying. When you worry about something, it's because you think it'll help, or you think that it'll affect it in any way, or that you must worry about it because it's happened. And you think that you must worry about it because it's happened, because you think that what you are, is a doer, and not just the universe as a whole. So when you're the doer, you think you must worry about it because this happening is feedback on you, on your doer. It's like it's not feedback as in like you talk to someone and like, oh yeah, I liked that. It's feedback in like something that's affecting you as a result of you doing something. It's like a result. Okay, so feedback. You think that something happening must affect you, and you must worry. Okay. Let me say it again. You think that something happening must affect you. But why must it affect you? Where are you that's being affected? Aren't you just the universe as a whole? Like where are you? You're just a product of everything that's happening. And like are you just consciousness? Are you just the body in there? Well then consciousness is everything, and consciousness is everything, because when you feel something, you're feeling it as a product of the universe. Like this chair right here, this is not just a chair separate from the universe. It literally is a part of this car. I'm touching the car. Or was I touching the fabric on the chair, on the top of the chair? Or was I touching the country that I'm in? Am I touching the country that I'm in right now? Or am I touching Earth? Am I touching Earth right now? I would argue that you're touching the entire universe. Right there, you're touching the entire universe as one. That's the wholeness. That's why you see like things like I am one with everything, everything is one with me, I'm one with it. Well, it's not one with you, you're just like it just is, guys. Universe. Universe. This is awesome. Everything is one with you. Yeah. You're one with you're just one. Yeah, so when what was I saying, guys? What was I saying? What was being said? You think that something happening must affect you. And then you thinking that is in itself just a thought, and then from there worry arises because of this illusion that you are my face, or like my soul, my soul. Like I don't know, but okay. Apparently, souls are like a little bit iffy, hard to define, hard to do anything with. You think that you're my brain. You think I'm my brain doing things, thinking thoughts. You think I'm thinking thoughts. You think that something happening must affect you because you are a thing in the universe, and therefore this thing happening must you think that this thing happening is a cause for worry. It's a cause for something specific to you. Because of the illusion that you are lost in, that is the track of thinking. Yeah, like the thinking track, the thought train. And therefore it's happening specifically to you and not just happening. When in reality, everything is just happening. And that thing doesn't need to have any specific impact on the pleasure of the conscious experience of existence in awareness. Well, I'd call this your awareness. Your awareness in the concept that is you. Is there a you and an I? No, there's just the universe. We established that. Or is there your consciousness, my consciousness, or is it just conscious? I think there's just consciousness as a product of existence. There's consciousness. There's just hanging out. It's nothing that's like you. You're not consciousness. I'm not consciousness. Consciousness is just a part of the universe. And that's the experience that we all get to be in, to fall in love with. That's the experience that we get to experience. That we get the privilege of being before we cease, before we die. That's all there is. There's no thinker. There's just like mugs and shit on tables. Like mugs and shit on tables. What I mean by that is that there just is everything, and it's no different to anything else. But consciousness, that is important because it's an experience. It's an experience. An experience that we get to fall in love with. Isn't that right, Lionel? I'm sure you love life, eh? That we get to make better. That I can now be here and love and care for my dog. That I can love and care for people without being concerned for the doer that I'm lost in, that my awareness, my conscious experience, like awareness, is lost in. That I think that is. When everything I can just see move, it's sort of like, what do you focus on? What do you focus on? Is it panel behind me? Or is it thoughts in here? This is sort of what thinking's like. If you're listening, I'm doing stuff with the focus on the camera. It's all blurry now, and everything's sort of just like out of focus. That's thinking. But thinking's sort of in focus. Thinking's sort of in focused here. Is it though? Yeah. If thinking's in focus, usually it's like overlaid. Everything's just appearing in consciousness, which is awareness, sensory information. I think in a way thoughts are sensory information too. Memories surely are sensory information. Sort of. Are they? Good boy, Lionel. He's a very happy boy. He's just fallen asleep on the chair. It's funny. He's very cute, actually. He's a very cutie boy. So there is no doer. There is no one little shtick, one little thinker that can. There is no you. There is no I that can. That can hate, that can compare to anything. It's just not being aware of the reality, which is that there is no you, there is no I. The I is just the unawareness that of what is. The I is the awareness, is the unawareness that of what matters. It's just being lost, being consumed by thought. Consumed as in you're sort of consuming the thought as if it was air, as if the thought was so important because that's what you are. That's what you do, you think, right? But thinking just arises. There is no doing. There is only happening. So when we stop and we go, this bad thing I don't like, it happened. I wish it wasn't like that. The suffering is in the phrase, I wish it wasn't like that. When the reality is that that's how it is. And the suffering comes from seeing it through the lens of a self, of you. because the suffering is the belief that everything's happening to you instead of just an experience. Let's say you had a deadline that you had to meet, but you're not meeting it. Or just any you can substitute any unpleasant experience, right? The suffering comes when you think that like this pain, this unpleasantness is happening to a thinker, is happening to a self, to you, and not just a product of the universe, something that's just appearing. And then we get attached to it happening to us. We go, why me? Why you? This is just the universe. And it sort of is that thing of such is life. But the problem with that is that such is life is taken from the point of view of a self, of a person going such is life. But why does it have to be life? Maybe I'll just go die. Well, it could just be such is life, so therefore this is okay. You can enjoy the annoyances in life. You can go, well, this is life, and life is beautiful. Although right now, it seems pretty ugly. And it seems pretty ugly because I've perceived it as ugly. Because I think that it's happening to me. Okay, what I'm struggling to find here is why it's happening, why the fact that it's happening to you means that man, I just want to do drugs to get this out of my mind. I mean, just like to work this out, it'd be nice. I haven't done any drugs, by the way. Apart from alcohol. And a puff of marijuana. And maybe a little bit of nicotine. So anyway, what was I saying? You think that it happening to you is something that it's happening through the lens of a self. So then when the unpleasant experience arises, you cling to the unpleasant experience not arising. When it's that which is, that's right, such is life. The problem with such is life is that it comes through this lens that it's happening to you, that life is still happening to you, but you just got to deal with it. Well, there's no dealing with it. There's only really, it's sort of like embracing it, but I don't really like that word because it's still like you're doing it, you're embracing it, yeah, I'll just do it then. It's still like such as life sort of thing. There's only really just the universe, which is also you. It's like there's oneness that although it's happening and it's unpleasant, it doesn't need to be any more than that. The thought of the unpleasantness is also just an arising. But realizing that those two don't have to be interlinked. That you don't have to get lost in this train of thought and then just go vroom, 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 vroom. You don't have to give your attention to it. And that doesn't mean distracting yourself, because then you're still pretty unhappy, because your foundations of thought and stuff are pretty bad. Your defaults there, not doing well. It's not going to set you up for to be happy, because your wisdom is pretty poor at that moment. It's pretty disturbed. If you're distracting yourself from negative thoughts, it's disturbed. When really, you just have to be with the thought. It's where not fighting it, not fighting the nerves comes from. You want to, the thought of you wanting to get rid of it comes. But that comes from the thought of it happening to you. When in reality, it's just happening as a part of you. So what you would do in that situation is pay attention to it. And then, as Sam Harris would say, begin again. You begin again on loving experience, on falling in love with everything that there is to fall in love with. That's what life's all about. Well, it's not really about anything. It's just that's the wise thing to do. That's how you. Well, I guess it is what it can be all about. That's what there is to love about life. It doesn't have to be about anything. There is no meaning to it. There's just loving it. There's just the beauty of it. Even if your meaning is to go to heaven, there's just the beauty of that. There's no meaning to it. There's no purpose to go on some big quest. There's just loving it. And if that means going on a quest, then so be it. And that's loving it. But then when you're enchanted and you're distracted by going on a quest, you're not actually loving it. And you're just making yourself think that that's life. And you're stuck in that thing of being a self, needing to go on the quest. And then when you're in the self, you get all distracted and unwise because everything seems to be happening to you instead of everything just being one. It's not, everything isn't you, everything is also other consciousnesses as well. Like mushrooms, they have consciousness. Trees, they have consciousness. My dog Lionel here has a consciousness. How is that happening to them? It's just the world, man. Just the universe. And we get to experience it. So the question is, how are you going to experience it? You as in the learning of the nervous system that's got a consciousness attached to it. That is consciousness actually. Which is the conscious experience. Consciousness as an experience, I think, might refer to it better. Might want to understand that better, personally. Thinking that I am separate from the universe is the thing that causes suffering, because being separate from the universe leads to attachment to things that apparently aren't the universe, when nothing really was you to be attached to. Because apparently you're not part of the universe, you're separate to the universe, you're some other being that's doing things with this free will that you think you have, when really nothing is yours to be yours to get attached to, because you want it some other way, but that makes a cool noise. Okay, let me come again. Getting attached to something. Where was I? I think medical noise. I was like, getting so hot in here. Oh my goodness. Eek. Getting there's not a roll there. Thinking that you're separate from the universe leads to you getting attached to things that are not reality. And it's that cognitive dissonance of you thinking that there's something special about you that leads to the self-centeredness through which you see the world, instead of just the world, the universe. Because it's the universe that's beautiful, not the thing that you think is you. When you let in the beauty that is the universe, you stop clinging. Clinging to that which you want. And you start living. Well, you don't start living, you're already living, Jesus Christ. You start paying attention to that which is. And that which is results in happiness. Because that which is peace. And peace results in happiness. To be attached to doing something. To something being a way which it isn't. That is unhappiness. And that comes from thinking that you're a self. From being lost in that. You want to go outside? And you want to go back outside? Come on. Come on. Come on, no. So there's a lot to love out there. And yourself isn't one of them. There is just that which appears in consciousness, which is everything. Everything in your experience. It cannot be any other way. So why worry about it being the way that it is, when you can just appreciate the way that it is and act from not from the way that you would rather have it be, because you think that you're separate from the universe and therefore you have these delusions of the way that things should be or could be, because apparently that's a possibility, because you've been lost in thought about this, because the way that things could be or should be is just a thought, and it doesn't need to be a thought if you're just in reality, because bad things don't last that long. It's only the thought of them that lasts long, and that's what causes suffering. I've stubbed my toe twice today, and it hurt a little bit, but I just paid attention to the hurt, and I didn't go, because it's that's really kind of painful, actually. And you're going, why isn't happening to me? I should be better than this. I shouldn't be the person that stubs my toe, you idiot. That's like, it's the self-hate. Because there's a self, apparently. When you just pay attention to it, there's no self. So therefore, there's no suffering. There just is the pain, which is experience. Pain is not suffering. Pain is the interpretation of suffering. Suffering is the interpretation of pain. Huh, you're right. And the enchantedness, the illusion that is happening to something. Self-centeredness. It's a bit of selfishness, if you will. That everything's happening to you, when in reality everything is just happening. It's a bit like that baby thing that you learn about in psychology at school. They think that everything happens to them, so then they do that experiment where they I don't know, but like in like Freudian, like child psychology, you get like trauma because you think that your parents abandoned you because of something you did, so then you feel like you're not good enough. I think that's just this, but it's simple. I think that might be where the thing of self comes from. Like that's where it is constructed as a baby, and it just like you sort of then develop empathy, like which is the realization of other people having intentions and stuff. Yeah, so just be the space, everything, the experience in which everything is, quite simply. Appearing. Being judged does not need to be a factor in like how you act. Like, I think it's like equanimity. Equanimity just from not being anxious about it, because if it happens, it's not a problem, because it's just, well, it's happened, don't worry about it. Just move on. It's not nothing to do with you. Just happening, just the way the world is, just the universe happening, all one, yeah. So you can still not do it, just because that would be pretty erratic to do stuff because you don't care about being judged. It's sort of just like if if it's wise to do something, even though you might be judged, in being wise, as in you won't freak people out and scare them, etc. Think that, scaring them, think you might be like psychotic or like, scary white male. That's an adult. Fuck. So that laugh was just terrible. Apologize. Doesn't need to be a thing, because, well, there's no self to worry about. It's just, if it happens, it's just experience, it's just consciousness, it's existence. And if it doesn't happen, that also doesn't need to be something that needs to be taken into account. What can be taken into account is wisdom, which is wise action, which is like doing stuff because it seems like the beneficial thing to do, which also includes not freaking people out, unless it seems like the wise thing to do for some reason. And that's why judgment isn't something that you should worry about. Ever. Just wise action.